Good afternoon. This public meeting of the Board Governance and Personnel Committee is being held at 30 North 3rd Street, Harrisburg, PA. By participating in this session, you are consenting to the recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. Although being live streamed via the internet, this meeting is a live, in-person meeting open to the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act. The live streaming of this meeting is presented as a convenience and is not provided as the official means for public attendance. In the event the live stream fails or cannot be transmitted for any reason, the in-person public meeting will continue without interruption. Please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome everybody. This is the Board Governance and Personnel Committee meeting of the State Employees Retirement System, December 5th, 2022. It's approximately 2:34 p.m. So I will call this meeting to order as the chairman, David Philman. Could I have a roll call, please, of the board?
Chair Philman.
Present.
Treasurer Garrity or a designee.
I'm here.
Thank you. Senator Hughes or a designee.
Pat Lindsay on behalf of Senator Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Mr. Thal.
Here.
Secretary Vague or a designee. Anyone from Secretary Thal's office? Secretary Vague, I'm sorry.
I'm here, Eric Pistelli, here for Secretary Vague.
Thank you. That's everyone.
Okay, we have everyone present. There are no welcome and introductions at this point. Item number 3 of the agenda, the minutes. I move that the Board Governance and Personnel Committee approve the minutes of the September 22nd, 2022 Board Governance and Personnel Committee meeting. It's been properly moved. Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? I hear second.
Second.
Anyone on the question? Hearing none. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried. With that, item number 4 is old business. SIRS Strategic Plan, fiscal year 2023. Cindy Collins, you're up.
Yeah, it is at Board Docs at 4A, and it is, you have 2 documents there. You have the entire strategic plan, which is ending in June of 2023, and an update document that has updates as to progress made on certain specific items that haven't been completed yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 5, special presentations. There are none. Item number 6, new business. Sub A, SIRS Strategic Plan, fiscal year 2024. Again, Cindy Collins.
Okay, so this is an update to the committee who is responsible for the initial strategic planning process along with senior staff. We've had 3 very good meetings, and for the committee, we've had representation from the committee members, and everybody's been very engaged. A lot of very good suggestions, a lot of really hard work. We have 1 more meeting this year, and then a couple in January. In February, we'll be bringing to the entire Board Governance and Personnel Committee the strategic plan that's been developed to that point for input, comments, and feedback before we take it to the full board. So look forward to presenting that and getting, be ready to roll up your sleeves and have some interesting discussions at the February Board Governance and Personnel Committee about that.
I appreciate the staff and the board designees mostly that are participating in this and give us some guidance as we go forward here with the many challenges we will have. Okay, thank you. Item number B, compensation policy for investment professionals, aggregate pay increase budget. Katie Matthews, this is our annual thing. Really not much changes except the numbers, but I'll let Katie make that presentation. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. If you're following along in Board Docs, you'll find relevant materials posted under New Business 6B. Employees in our investment office and our Office of Financial Management covered under the compensation policy for investment professional staff, which is posted to the SIRS website. These individuals are eligible for consideration for an annual individual merit-based pay adjustment. Our investment professionals do not receive cost of living or longevity increases, which means that they did not receive the August 13th, 2022 combined general pay increase and step increases that were granted to other Commonwealth employees. Before the individual investment professional employee increases can be considered, the board first approves the pay increase budget. This committee makes the recommendation to the board on the aggregate pay increase budget. Ideally, the pay increase budget is established in December, then individual employee pay increases are discussed and approved in early 2023 to then take effect the first full pay period of March of 2023. As the chair said, we have been following this same general process for several years. The suggested pay increase budget has been discussed with the executive director, the chief investment officer, and the chief financial officer, and the recommendation for the 2023 aggregate pay increase budget is 7.4% of aggregate salary for covered positions, excluding the salaries of the chief financial officer and chief investment officer. The Chief Financial Officer has confirmed that the CSRS budget can support this recommendation. Now, we do acknowledge that the 7.4% recommendation is higher than it has been in prior years. Each year, in recommending the aggregate pay increase budget, we consider market data, which generally tracks with inflation. The Social Security Administration 2023 cost of living adjustment was announced at 8.7%. The Consumer Price Index for the Mid-Atlantic region for October of 2022 was 7.8%, and the salary adjustment planning letter that CSRS receives from CBIZ provides a range of 6.5 to 8.3%. I'll also emphasize that what we are discussing is a pool of money that the CIO and CFO can allocate across their teams for the individual employee pay increases based on merit and subject to committee approvals. When I talk about a 7.4% aggregate pay increase budget, what I'm referring to is calculating 7.4% of covered staff salaries. For investments, this is approximately $169,000, and for finance, it's approximately $49,000. So we are not talking about giving every covered employee a 7.4% increase. In considering the aggregate pay increase budget, in addition to considering market data, we also try to make sure that CSRS leadership would have the flexibility to recognize different performance levels. Our compensation policy speaks to ensuring that pay levels remain competitive and that high performers are recognized. Setting the aggregate pay increase budget to then be allocated across individual covered staff can result in some staff whose compensation remains unchanged, while another employee might receive a 3% increase or a 5% increase or a 7% increase as examples. And also, just because a maximum aggregate budget is authorized, it does not mean that the full pay increase budget will be utilized. The supervisors will be evaluating employee performance against established goals and the job factors detailed on the employee performance review forms. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Katie? As explained, it has been the basis for these years. Obviously the numbers, as indicated, are a little higher than they have been, but there are, including the legislature, including the governor's office, are on board with a higher number slightly, as far as that goes. So again, the process is going to be the same, except for the number we're going to plug in. I understand the treasurer has a question. Treasurer.
Just a very easy question for Katie. So you mentioned they don't have to use the full pot of money that gets approved. Has there ever been an instance where they haven't used it?
They've been slightly under. It might be $10 or $15, but they haven't used it down to every penny.
Okay, so basically you use it. Okay, that's what I assumed. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Treasurer. Anybody else? Anybody else? Seeing none, then it's appropriate that we make the motion for the compensation policy for the investment professionals, the aggregate pay increase budget. I move that the Board Governance and Personnel Committee recommend to the State Employees Retirement Board to approve the annual aggregate pay increase budget for 2023 to be set at 7.4% of the aggregate salary of all staff compensated on the investment professional pay schedule for positions below that of the Chief Financial Officer and the Chief Investment Officer, with the actual pay increases for all staff compensated on the investment professional pay schedule, including the Chief Financial Officer and the Chief Investment Officer, to be determined in accordance with the compensation policy for investment professional staff, State Employees Retirement System. It's properly moved. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I hear a second. Anyone on the question? Anyone on the question? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Chair Philman,
Aye.
Treasurer Garrity,
Aye.
I think it was Mr. Lindsay for Senator Hughes,
Aye.
Mr. Thal,
Aye.
and was it Mr. Pistilli for Secretary Vague?
Aye.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
is Jim Bloom. Aye is good.
Okay. All yes.
Okay, thank you very much. With that concludes our new business issue. We'll now go in executive session. And Joe, you want to tee us up, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The Sunshine Act allows an executive session to discuss any matter involving the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of performance, promotion or disciplining of any specific current public employee of SCRS. The scheduled executive session is to review, discuss, and evaluate the salary of the executive director and the salary of the special assistant to the executive director. This agency business is authorized under the Sunshine Act to be done in executive session.
Before we enter into executive session, please give us a minute to make a few technical changes in the boardroom. We will make you aware upon the completion of those changes for you to consider, or for you to successfully move on to your meeting. As a reminder, the public meeting will resume on this live stream connection when the executive session is complete. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed. Thank you.
Okay, we are back in open or public session after our executive session concluded, and I have two motions that we're going to present to the committee. I move that the Board Governance and Personnel Committee recommend to the State Employees Retirement Board to adopt the Special Assistant Performance Review and Pay Process, the provisions of which apply as long as the Special Assistant to the Executive Director, SIRS, job remains assigned to pay scale type XH, and to authorize pay increases subject to Commonwealth Executive Board approval for the Special Assistant to the Executive Director, SIRS, job in accordance with the procedures as located in Board Docs at Agenda Item 7A. It's properly moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I hear a second. Roll call, please. Any questions before? Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Chair Philman,
Aye.
Treasurer Garrity or designee,
Aye.
Senator Hughes or designee.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Thal,
Aye.
and Secretary Vague or designee.
This is Jim Bloom from the Schuylkill Expressway. Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom. All yes.
Which lane are you in? Thank you.
The
It's,
passing lane.
Thank you. It's been passed. The second motion is executive director pay. I move that the Board Governance and Personnel Committee recommend to the State Employees Retirement Board to grant the executive director, SIRS, a cost of living increase of the same percentage and with the same effective date as the annual cost of living adjustment approved by the governor pursuant to the Act of October 19th, 1995, PL 325, number 324, number 51. It's been properly moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I hear a second. Anyone on the question? Anyone on the question? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Chair Philman,
Aye.
Treasurer Garrity or designee.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Ebright. Senator Hughes or designee.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Thal,
Aye.
and Secretary Vague or designee.
Jim Bloom, aye.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom. All yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That concludes our items in the public session for motions. Number 8 on our agenda, comments, concerns, questions. Anyone have anything to bring up? Seeing none, I move that we adjourn this meeting of December 5th of 2022, the Board Governance and Personnel Committee. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Hear a second. Anyone on the question? Hearing none. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you very much, everybody.